Thank you for joining us for an episode of Mom and Pop Hub Podcast. We are a podcast that understands that operating a profitable small business is difficult, especially while trying to compete with large corporations. Our goal in each and every episode is to provide a quality content to small businesses owners to help you become more successful in operating your business. We hope to accomplish this by, first, interviewing experts in various support roles such as marketing agents, CPAs, accountants, shipping experts, and more that have been beside small business owners in their most difficult times to help them grow their business. Secondly, by committing to ask the most applicable and beneficial questions for you and your small business. This episode's expert is Joe Myers. He is a marketing expert in the pet industry, keynote speaker, dog dad, and founder of Share, a digital marketing agency that educates small businesses how to drive traffic and sales. Joe has been featured in USA Today, Pet Life Radio, Pet Age, Minnesota Business, Inc., Pet Podcasts, and many pet and tech blogs. He has traveled the United States to speak about marketing in the pet industry. Joe, how is everything going for you today?
Wonderful, James. Thank you so much for having me. I love talking about and to small businesses, mom and pop businesses. They are the true lifeblood of our country, and I'm excited to dive into today's podcast.
Well, we want to thank you again for being our expert on this week's episode. And as we get into the conversation itself, what we're going to be looking at is the importance of marketing for the holiday seasons. And what we really want to accomplish in this episode is to provide a case for why small business owners should make this a priority, but also by looking at some practical ways in which they can accomplish this successfully, as well as providing some encouragement to you as small business owners during this crucial part of the year for your business. So, Joe, as we jump straight into the conversation, the initial thing we want to look at is why should small business owners make marketing during the holiday season a priority?
Very simple answer to that, James. Black Friday. The original name of it was actually because it was the time of year when retail businesses, particularly, would actually make a profit. They would go from red to black. Their business would be struggling and challenging, and then they would get this influx of consumers to go into their shop, to their store, and purchase so much product that they finally made a profit. So Black Friday. It's a little different today, and that has evolved, but the holidays are the times consumers unhinge themselves from the inhibitions of their wallet. It's only once a year. It's a holiday. It's Christmas. It's time together as family. It's that one thing that they put off all year in your small business. You could be a retailer or you could be a service provider. I was looking at my carpets earlier and I'm like, we have to get these cleaned before the holidays. Who is going to show up at my front door tomorrow or the next day with that deal, with that offer, with that opportunity? Because when my parents-in-law come over and they're judging eyes at my carpet, I'll pay good dollar for that. And so the holidays are this time where consumers are unhinged. They're wanting more from their experiences. They have the rest of the year to pay it off. They're wanting these moments, these memories, and however your business is involved with that, whether you have a retail, whether you're a service provider, maybe you're a marketer like myself, people want to get things off their plate. They want to get things finished. They want to get signed, sealed, and delivered because the holidays are time for them to have fun with family and friends, and you can be a part of that financially.
First off, I assume you're pretty confident that your parent-in-laws are not going to be listening to this episode because of their judging eyes.
Knowing my parents-in-law, John and Diana, I'm very confident to say their names. They would be absolutely 100% in agreement that I should get my carpets cleaned. They actually might send me over a coupon if you sent one to them as well. So a little referral marketing if you sent one to John and Diane.
As we look at marketing during this time of the year, is how does this look different than marketing any other time of the year?
The one thing is that this time of the year is all about efficiency and about timing. If you had your best deal in the second week of October, who cares? No one's going to care. If you have your best deal on December 27th, less people would care. Timing is so important during the holidays, and that's really where it's different. It's messaging and it's timing. Is you want to make sure that your messaging is in line with your consumers, what season of life they're in, what stage of life they're in. They want to make sure it aligns with their priorities and how they want to function in their life, and then also timing. If you did an amazing deal the second week of October, when you have that other amazing deal in Black Friday, Cyber Monday, considering your retail or purchased item, it's just going to fall flat on the consumer. And so timing is very important. Messaging is very important. But then also the biggest marketing thing that a lot of people miss during this time of year is customer service and retention. Those things have to be your best customers are going to reach out to you because you've worked with them in the past. That's that time to make sure that they get scheduled, that those people show up. It's busy, but this time also is not just new client acquisition marketing, which is so fun and, need I say, sexy, getting a new client in the door, but there's somebody that's been with you for 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, 3 months. Make sure the marketing efforts to your current clients are ramped up as well, because other people, they're trying to get your client during this season. They're going to send them the $10 off, the $50 off, the free, the come on in. They're wanting to acquire as well. So make sure you keep hold of your current clients first, and then you can go get more.
We see that the importance of doing this in this time of the year is simply because this is one of the busiest and most profitable time for a business. In this, you've alluded to the idea that our marketing content as well as the time in which we do this is two of the most important things as we seek to market in our small businesses during this holiday seasons. And so as we look at that, let's go a little bit deeper into that thought process and see really what are some practical ways in which a small business owner can accomplish this effectively. Since you made this a big point in what you were just saying is when is that best time to begin cultivating these specific marketing content for the season?
I want to be as vague as possible, but as specific as possible. I don't want to assume that everybody who's listening to this is a retailer or a service provider. So I'm going to kind of blend the two. I would start your holiday marketing sometime in the mid-October, prepping the season, reaching out to your best customers before they get very busy. If you go into any retailer right now, that really dictates what the consumer's feeling and what season they're in. Most of them are still going to be, mid-October. There's still going to be Thanksgiving. There's still going to be Halloween themed there. But during that mid-October break is when retailers and everybody's in the holiday mood. So I would start that marketing and promotion to your current customers the first 2 weeks of October. Your current customers are not going to be that busy. They might be with life, but there's less on their plate than if you started marketing to them the first week of December. So the first 2 weeks of October, I'd start reaching out to your current customers to try to get that one extra booking, that one extra visit to your store, that getting them scheduled for next year, depending on your business. That's the time for your current customers. And then that first 2 weeks in November is where you should be hitting the ground hard and running, unless you're a retail store and then you have those key times. But those first 2 weeks, first 2 weeks in October, your current customers, hit them hard. First 2 weeks in November, that's client acquisition. That's new promotions. That's getting people in the door. A lot of small businesses, from what I know, unless they're working out of their home like I do, they're in a retail setting. So there might be right next door to you somebody who just goes, gangbuster the week before Thanksgiving. Work with them on a co-promotion the first 2 weeks. If I was a small business and I had a haircut place in my place of business, I would be over there all the time. That's going to be your key customers. Your core customers are getting their haircut. They're going in once a month. You can touch them and reach them in that location. And then in December, sort of hold on and serve your customers. One final push to new customers in the first 2 weeks of December. But after that, sort of holding on, letting the customers come to you, and focus on your existing customers first and foremost, and then you can go acquire new ones.
So when you talk about separating marketing to existing customers and new customers, when you market to the new customers, would you include the existing customers in that same marketing strategy and just double up on them, or would you just leave them alone and just keep them in the first 2 weeks of October?
What I've heard and what I believe strongly is that the right message to the right person at the right time. So you
Mm-hmm.
want to keep those two lists drastically separate. You want to reach out to your existing customers as if they're family.
Okay.
So, first names, their last appointment date, if you can include it depending on your technology, what happened in your retailer, in your store, in your service. Hey, Mrs. Smith, last October we serviced your AC unit. When would you like us to come again? Versus, dear neighbor, AC tune-ups happening in October. Like, I'm not Mrs. Smith, but I would 100% call you back on a higher rate if
Mm-hmm.
it said, "Hey, Mrs. Smith, we remember you, we like you, we care about you. Let's do this again because this worked last time."
Mm-hmm.
That's drastic.
But on that same note, as you're talking about, if you treat customers you've never served before in the same manner,
Mhm.
it becomes off-putting because if you're addressing me by first name and I've never shopped with you before,
100%.
it's going to make me assume, how did you get my information? Are you buying my information? How are you
Exactly.
obtaining this?
Exactly. Yeah, there's no relationship developed, there's no connection, there's no community developed, and it does feel a little too big brother-ish
Hmm.
for most consumers. In that instance, you could always say, you liked us on Facebook, so we reached out to you, or we, we noticed, we're new to the area, so we reached out to you. But again, I 100% agree. If you have a new customer or acquisition, and you say anything other than hello neighbor, that thing's going to get thrown in the trash real quick.
Agree completely. What are some ways in which we can accomplish this? Is there any specific media marketing or social media marketing or even sending out letters or shoppers or anything like that that you find more beneficial for mom and pop stores that are small business owners?
Yeah, I would say the most effective form of marketing for a small business is where the small business can utilize their advantage in the marketplace. You mentioned before competing with these corporations. Where can you win as a small business that your corporation competitor can't? And what I mean by this is, let's say you're a small mom and pop and your business list is 50 people. Those are your core customers, 50 people, and you add 10 every month or every year, and those are your core people. Or 200 people. You can easily write handwritten letters or hand signed letters or form letters with hand signature and little notes at the bottom that your corporate competitors would never even do or think about. You can write personal Facebook messages to your current customers for asking for referrals. You can have advertising featuring your current customers in the city that you live, that your corporation partners or competitors could never do.
Hmm.
So the media that's going to be most effective for a mom and pop is one that they can win at, because you're not going to win by the almighty dollar. You're going to win on the personalization and the relevancy of that message. If I get a phone call from, my mother-in-law, I'm picking that up versus AT&T. If I get
Hmm.
a phone call from the mom and pop retailer down the street who knows me, I'm going to pick that up well before the corporation that's never going to call me. I'm a number on a spreadsheet. So turn your customers from numbers to people, and you'll win every time. If they're just numbers to you, then the corporation, they're just numbers to them too. So where in media can you be personalized? Include your customers in your emails, include your customers in your advertising. Don't use stock, use Bill and Gene.
Hmm.
Way better results. Your organization, depending on if you're local, but even if you're a mom and pop business that you service all around the country, call your best customer and get them to do a referral for you or them to be in your advertising. You have to win where you can win. You're not going
Hmm.
to outspend your corporate competitors. Well, you might, but I assume not.
On that same note, though, you could be talking about both, but it seems like you're really addressing maintaining the previous customers you had. So, is there any specific way of marketing that they can reach new customers?
Definitely. Yeah. So how I address this vast media landscape that we live in, all the things in our life that take our attention away from the work we're doing. So that
Mhm.
may be your phone, that may be social media, that may be TV, that may be the newspaper, that may be the mail that comes in the mail. These are all distractions. And so you need to figure out what best distraction reaches your audience. So the easiest way to do that and the simplest way is what we call tracking. And I can't tell
Mhm.
you social media is going to work for your business. I don't know your business. I can't tell you direct mail is going to work for your business because I don't know your business.
Mhm.
But I can tell you that the 100% foolproof method of gaining and acquiring new customers is testing and tracking. It is
Mhm.
what all the big boys do, the big companies. They do a Facebook page, a Facebook ad, and they test it. And they test it with a unique way of tracking it. So whether it's a unique code or a unique email address or unique offer, they test it, dollars in, dollars out, result. Email, dollars in, dollars out, result. Dollars in, dollars out, result. If you're thinking broad strokes and you're saying, hey, Joe, I don't have any time to test, fair, you're a small business.
Mhm.
If you're digitally based, email for high ticket items is rock solid. So if you have a high ticket item over $100, get on their email list, pound them with emails until they kick you off. Lower ticket item under $15 to $50, Facebook ads, Instagram ads can be super effective. Um, and if you're a local service, you got to get in their mailbox. So actually sending them the letter in the mailbox, acquiring them that way, is still very effective. The mail, although it's antiquated, is still very effective to get people. If you're localized, if you're like the local repairman or the local AC guy, get in the
Mhm.
mailbox. That still will be very effective. You can drive social ads for those. The best thing is if you have data behind your advertising. So you can market to people who only have your type of air conditioning unit and there's a list you can buy. That's going to be better results. So try to add tracking to everything all the time. And if you can, add a little data in there. So don't just
Mhm.
reach out to everybody, only reach out to the people who want your product in their seat. They just move there, they probably need cable. If they just move there, they probably need. If they just experienced X, they probably need Y. And you can usually pay for that data in the marketplace.
Well, and then, the aspect of doing mailings. So often I think businesses do every door direct, which is
Mhm.
just a general same message on every card that they're sending to every route in their zip code range.
Mhm.
But whenever you buy that information, like you're saying in the marketing side of things, then it's not only more detailed, but you're actually receiving addresses rather than just sending postcards. And so
Exactly.
it actually allows you to make more customary content that's actually first class letters rather than third class letters. And so what
Mhm.
happens is actually forwards, and not only does it forward, but it'll actually make it to the individual a lot easier than it would some third class mail. So um,
Ve-
interesting though.
Very much so. And the other thing you can do is take today, you probably know as a small business, maybe you think this is my best performing marketing piece. It's a Facebook ad, it's a mailer.
Hmm.
Just tweak it a little bit and then test it. And the results sometimes can be shocking. I've seen 5 to 10 to 15% upticks in results by tweaking a photo or tweaking what it says or tweaking the offer. It's so effective, but it maybe can even be more so by changing something little that could be huge in the eyes of the consumer.
What I noticed as we were kind of introducing you into the podcast is not only are you in the pet industry, but you're a pet dad. And so maybe you want to share an example that you have helped a little mom and pop store or a small business in this specific area.
Certainly. So one of my clients, they were a small business. It was the founder who was my direct client. And he, had his business for a couple of years, and he wasn't tracking anything. He would do an ad, but he would drive directly to his website, his e-commerce site, but there would be no code attached to it. He was on Amazon, but he wasn't doing advertising effectively. So he's sort of putting money in and not caring about it. And so what we did is we looked at all of it on a spreadsheet. I love spreadsheets, and a simple equation: dollars in, dollars out. What did this marketing expense equate to at the end? And we looked at all the marketing expenses you were doing. We probably cut half of them out. And then for the series of 2 or 3 months, we tested his best performing pieces, his best performing marketing tools, and kept narrowing them down, and realized that is one of his most effective tools was advertising on Amazon. He had a big product on Amazon, and we just leaned in and we just launched a huge campaign for this one person business. He's the business. It's one product, several lines in that product. But we figured out that we can spend 3 times as much money on Facebook or Instagram or email. But where we were finding the most effectiveness was right on Amazon. He was making double the money on that platform than he was at the end of the day once the numbers flush themselves out. And so the only true way to do it is to put the numbers down, sales channels. What are you actually making from that sales channel? And what does it cost for you to drive the next dollar in that sales column? And that's the marketing equation all rolled up into one.
For everyone out there that's listening, you would understand as you seek to grow your small business that it's not easy, that it's quite difficult at many moments, especially during the holiday season, because this is the moment in which you're hitting the pavement hard, trying to acquire new customers, maintain the previous customers you had. And when everyone else is enjoying their time with family and loved ones, you're working hard. And so, what our desire is on this episode is just to end with some encouragement for you. And really to get a little more specific, really what we see is that many individuals listening, they may feel overwhelmed in approaching this idea of marketing during this season. Could be for various reasons, possibly because they've never done it before, or the last time they did, there was no visible return from their time and resources. And so as we look at that, Joe, is there any advice you would want to give them in this pivotal moment in their small business?
Certainly. You can do it. You know your business. You know your clients. You know why you should be selected by your clients. You know it deep down. The goal of marketing is not to make your product or your service better, and that helps. The goal of marketing is to make people aware of the best possible decision that they can make in the marketplace. It's complicated, it's challenging, but as people, we're complicated and we're challenging. I don't know one person on earth who is simple. If you know them, send them my way. But the goal for marketing, get out of your head. How does my product or service make my client's life better? End of story. If you can answer that question, you are the best marketer in the room. If you can't, maybe go back to the drawing board with the product or service that you're featuring. But you can answer that question. Why does my product or service make my client's life better? That is marketing. Make more people aware of that so they consider you, and then they'll buy you. Get to work. You can do it.
Well, Joe, as we come to an end of the podcast, I know you just provided one example specifically in the pet industry, but is there maybe a particular moment or client or situation that comes to mind with a small business owner that you have dealt with directly that has benefited from marketing during the holiday season?
Before I owned my own agency, I actually worked at a hearing aid manufacturer, and I worked directly with small businesses who are audiologists or hearing instrument specialists. So they sell hearing aids from their offices all around the country. Some people had one office and some people had significantly more. But I remember one story in Texas. One office, she was the owner, the sometimes the front desk lady, sometimes she was, taking out the garbages. It was a true blue mom and pop business. And she was struggling in her business. And we, as her partner, as the manufacturer that she bought the hearing aids from, our job was to support her. And the holidays were coming, and it was just a difficult time. The bills were adding up on the other side, the invoices were adding up. And in that audience, it was mailers. They were key and they were golden. And so we're, hey, let's do one mailer second week of November. We're gonna cover it. We're your partner. We're gonna cover it. We got you. We sent it out. That one mailer booked her up for the next month. She was busy back to back to back. It paid for itself 6, 5, 7 times over. I don't remember the details now, but it was the confidence of saying, I've sent these mailers for 2 months and no one's responded. But as I said at the beginning of this podcast, this is the time of the season where your customers' inhibitions have almost melted away. And so this might be the 6th marketing message they're going to receive from you this year. And sometimes it's the straw that broke the camel's back. Sometimes it'll be the first one and you'll just get lucky and you're awesome, go to work. But if you've been sending mailers or sending emails or sending messages all year, nothing's hit, now is the time to say, hey, let's just do that one more. Be smart about it, of course. But understand that, hey, if you can't mail, you can call. If you can't call, you can knock on doors. If you can't knock on doors, you can have your cousin do it for you. I think as a small business owner, as a mom and pop business, sometimes this is the season to grind.
In this short time, even though it's only been about 30 minutes, we've covered a lot of information on how to do this and why to do this, some specifics, some good stories of yours. And so as we come to a close on this particular episode on marketing during the holiday season, let's take 30 seconds on each of these subjects and kind of sum them up for us. So let's begin by looking at why is this so important?
On the news, every year, you see people getting trampled for deals, getting literally walked over for the deal that's happening during this season. I don't know about you, but I don't see any of that happening in the spring or summer. So this is a time that consumers think differently about purchases, about services, about things in their life because they have so many boxes to check. You can be one of them. Think about my mother-in-law and the carpet that's right behind me. They're going to act differently now than they will in January, February, or March. Season, industry specific, but overall, they got to get their job done. So hopefully they do business with you.
All right. So what are some simple, practical, and effective ways that they can accomplish this?
Focus on your current customers first. Track all of your marketing and test.
Very quick, in less than 30 seconds. I like it. And so, Joe, if you would just take the time to tell our listeners how they can find you in your agency.
Thank you so much, James. You can find us at sharemarketing.agency. You can reach me, Joe, at sharemarketing.agency. We focus on driving businesses, increasing the bottom line. We track and test and do everything I talked about on this podcast, primarily for the pet industry, but we do focus on other industries outside there. My experience is a wide range. I just love my dog, so it's fun to talk to dog people all day.
Joe, once again, we want to thank you for being our expert on our topic of marketing during the holiday season. And the Mom and Pop Hub is a platform created to help small businesses compete with larger businesses by helping them acquire new customers. We are the only online platform which focuses exclusively towards small businesses. Small business owners who are looking to grow their business and constantly acquire new customers are invited to join our platform. You can request a free business invite to Mom and Pop Hub platform by filling out a free invite form on momandpophub.com. That is MOMNPOPHUB.com, or by texting invite to 901-437-6146. That is 901-437-6146, or via email at sales@momandpop.com. That is SALES at MOMNPOPHUB.com. If you have any other questions about Mom and Pop Hub, or would like to contact us about anything else, you may visit our website at momandpophub.com or contact us at contact@momandpophub.com.